is a word that, if misused, can cause unreasonable fear or unjustified acceptance that the fight is over, leading to unnecessary suffering and death.
Life pretty much froze after this day.
There are new COVID-19 cases in North Texas.
And it is spreading fast.
Declaring a state disaster.
Fort Worth Mayor Betsy Price is expected to announce a stay-at-home order.
Dallas County will move to a safer-at-home order.
Our world turned upside down, forcing us to change our ways, forcing us to be by ourselves and focus on our health, because we had nowhere to be. What if I told you that in the city, the streets were empty? Would you believe me? What if I told you schools shut down and businesses closed too? Even stadiums weren't rocking like they used to. Would you believe me? We hear words like
isolation,
Social distancing.
the lockdown.
to wash our hands since they can harm us, to keep 6 feet, we don't know who to trust. The fear turns into greed, so we take more than we need. But we're all in this together. We're all connected, all equally affected. A new dawn will rise. Everything will go back to how it was. Continue on doing the things we love. In the meantime, we'll miss our families.
Happy birthday, Landon.
Oh, I missed you.
We'll miss our friends. But we'll all be together again. We used to be on the phone when we're all together. Now we can't wait to get on the phone to be with each other. Will that change? Show support for our community, for the ones we love, and the ones who don't get appreciated enough. Yeah, someday it'll all be back to normal. People will fill the streets again. Sports will return. The only question left is, how do we move forward? Will our world change or remain the same? What is the new normal?
How talented you are. I don't care how much you work on yourself. There are some times when things aren't going to go right. There are times when anything that can happen will happen.
Life happens. The unexpected, the uncalled for, the unintentional. We've been damaged emotionally, damaged spiritually.
It may be your business. It may be your heart that is broken today. It may be the number in your bank account that is screaming, "You are
It's interesting that the things we cherish most are the same things we walk right by. They become so intertwined in the status quo that ultimately it becomes impossible to tell them apart from our day-to-day. That is, impossible until things change. Because as it turns out, that thing we call life, it has a say. There's a saying, you never really know what you have until it's gone. And sometimes it takes the most abrasive of reminders, the harshest of times, to help us recapture that perspective, to lift us up and show us what we had previously failed to see. And while our darkest moments test our strength, they push our boundaries, even transform our reality, they can also be the bridge that leads us exactly where we need to be. They remind us sometimes it's not about how we spend our time, but who we spend it with. That quiet brings clarity, and the world can spin so fast that we forget to think about our place within it. It reminds us how humanity is bigger than the sum of its parts, and it takes just as much energy to build up as it does to tear down. It reminds us that no matter where we live, what we speak, or who we pray to, we're not so different after all. It reminds us that there is so much more good in this world than evil, so much more love than hate, and so much promise for tomorrow. Someday we'll look back on this moment with the lessons we've learned, the hardships we've faced, and we will be reminded of the miracle that is the human spirit, unwavering in its resolve, unbreakable at its foundation, stronger than we could ever comprehend. See, sometimes it's hard to look around and find a reason to be optimistic, to understand or comprehend why. But what we'll find is that if we look hard enough, immersed in the uncertainty, the disruption, and in some cases, the tragedy, there's something to be gained. A tiny candle flickering in the night that will eventually grow to light our way. Because that road to tomorrow is paved with hope. There are pages unwritten, stories untold, and a new chapter to begin.
Hello everyone, welcome to our webinars for today. I am Sheneke Ipatosa, the Guidance Officer of College of Law and Graduate Studies. Just a little reminder, please use your USPF Gmail account upon attending the webinar. Please refrain from posting unnecessary comments during the webinar. The comment section is only intended for asking questions during the open forum. The evaluation form link will be posted on in our official Facebook page from 11 up to 2 p.m. only. The evaluation form will be basis for your attendance and e-certificate. The e-certificate will be sent through your email, and please give us time to prepare for your e-certificate. Okay, to begin with, let us have the Philippine National Anthem followed by the prayer.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y bumay. Lupang pinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigiw, sa nagkakatutok sa simoy at sa langit mo pagaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang inaamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang pituwin at araw niya kailan ang may magtitindig. Lumang ang araw ng warhabit pagsingka, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang higaya na kangay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the greater glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Okay, before the presentation will begin, allow me to introduce to you our resource speaker. She is a faculty member of College of Teacher Education, Arts and Sciences, a program coordinator, and a psychologist Pink Center and Vicente Soto Memorial Medical Center. Please help me welcome Ma'am Rosemary C. Gunato, registered psychologist.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are safe today, feeling okay, because these are challenging times, and I know that it's quite stressful for some of us, ang mga nahitabo karon. So it is fitting that we talk about stress management. No, I know you know about a lot about stress, and somehow, siguro in your own way, you have ways to cope up. But to enhance more on that, on your coping strategies, we will talk about stress management and developing resiliency for a while. Okay, I hope it's visible now. Makita ra. You can view it, right? Ma-view ra siya, no? Okay, I'll try to make it a slideshow for a while. Okay, so um, I know that stress is a fact of life. Boring man sad ang life kung walay stress, and it whether you're working or studying, stress is always a part of it. And we develop ways to cope. Sa others na ay mga short-term ways of coping, others unhealthy, and others also develop healthy ways of coping. So the outline of the presentation is a brief introduction about mental health and well-being, stress, emotional resilience, because I think this is very important, and we have to acknowledge, no, that we are resilient and we can be resilient, and how it is useful in coping up with the stresses in life, stress management and emotional resilience, and how to build emotional resilience. So, just a quote from Rose Kennedy: birds sing after the storm. Why shouldn't people feel as free to delight in whatever sunlight remains to them? So, mental health relates to how we think, feel, behave, and interact with other people. It's the Mental Health Month, ang October. And I know you've had maybe a series of lectures about mental health, and you all know that it relates to how we think, feel, behave, and interact with other people. This means that if you have good mental health, you also have better ways of relating to other people, feeling good about yourself, and thinking about the best decisions we make in our lives. So we develop mental health problems just as we develop physical problems, because we all know na ang mental and physical health are all interconnected. And according to recent studies, 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem each year. However, during the pandemic, ang mga mental health issues, it's not really a disorder, no? But mental health issues, nag-increase good siya. Meaning, people, prior to the pandemic nga walay mga problema, have expressed or indicated na naa sila yung mga mental health issues. It is evidenced by the rise of kanang clients in our private in the private practice na among gitanaw, no, the people that we see in private practice, and they would complain about um, panic attacks, some mga depressive tendencies, sadness. Others would complain about anxiety issues, no, something that they have never experienced before. Others would complain about irritability at being unable to sleep. And I think na daghan-daghan gud na siya na nag-complain, especially at the onset of the pandemic, meaning last year, no, when everybody was in lockdown, the whole country, even the world was on lockdown. At first we thought that okay, it is a time to rest kay wala may work or nag-work from home man ta. But 2 weeks, 2 months after, no, nag-set in that this is not normal anymore. Um, we see a lot of deaths and a rise in cases in social media that would reinforce our anxiety. Anxiety and depression are the most common problems, with about 1 in 10 people affected at any given time, especially now. And we see as young as 5 years old, 6 years old, nga na ay mga anxiety problems. These are the most common reasons why people seek help from mental health practitioners. And also, suicide is also on the rise, especially in Cebu City and Cebu Province. Some are not reported. Some people do not really acknowledge, no, that it's suicide, especially in kanang mga far-flung areas, because they believe na the person uh, died by suicide because of some supernatural occurrences. Not all mental health problems can be cured, but we can manage them. We can manage this by promoting mental health and well being. So at this time, we have to distinguish a mental health disorder, a psychological disorder, from psychological, time limited uh, mental health issues, like probably because you're so stressed, it's pandemic, you would develop anxiety attacks or panic attacks that maybe karon lang na siya, time limited, and it will resolve probably in time with the appropriate intervention. Lahi po do ang mental health disorder or ang psychological disorder, because that would entail psychotherapy, um, or worse, kung last resort na gyud, medications. The WHO defines well-being as a state of mind in which an individual is able to realize his or her own abilities, cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Our goal is to achieve well-being. That state of, it's not really na kung naka sa state of well-being, you have to feel good all the time. But we acknowledge that there will always be days na you don't feel good, you feel overwhelmed. But then you have the capacity to achieve this state. So there are two elements of well-being: feeling good and functioning well. So feeling good, no, this is relative. You can do something to feel good, and functioning well, meaning yes, you can work, yes, you can study, but you are like functioning maayo ang imong pag-function on these areas. Because if you have mental health issues, emotional issues, you won't function well. You might be able to function, yes, go to school, go to work, but because of the issues, the emotional issues that you are manifesting, it impairs your functioning well, or your ability to function well. So let's talk about stress. It is the body's automatic response to any physical or mental demand placed on it. It's a fact of life. Like every day, like karon, you think about unsa may imong mga stressors every day aside from work, because work or school, especially kan mga demands, no, sa atong mga sa academic life, um will make us stress. But little things can make you stress also, like maybe a neighbor nga mag video okay, no, early in the morning or late at night nga di ka katulog. Yeah, sige lang, kahit, I mean, it happens most of the time in a week. That could be a source of stress. Or maybe the long commute, when you commute na traffic every day na siya mahitabo, that could be a source of stress, and sometimes di na siya ma-acknowledge. But is stress bad? Moderate levels of stress may actually improve performance and efficiency. We need stress also, because too little stress may result in boredom. Too much stress may cause an unproductive anxiety level. So if masubrahan na sa stress, wala na kay tulog, or di nakakatulog, that would cause unproductive anxiety level. There are people now, they're very kanang stressed at work, they could hardly sleep, and because they can't sleep, they would develop panic attacks. And cumulative stress reactions are a less dramatic, more gradual form of stress reaction. So these are the kind of stress that are low intensity but are more chronic, and it affect impacts a person's life and it piles up on one on top of the other. Example, nakay problema sa imong going to work, kay commute, long commute, traffic, yeah, igabot nimo sa work, grabe og demands, too little time to beat the deadline. So mag-pile up na siya and it happens kung chronic na siya, meaning it happens no um at a longer period of time and it happens every day, that could compound. So it becomes cumulative stress. So while we may think that a traumatic event or critical incident is most damaging, ang kaning cumulative stress is likely to be as potentially problematic over the course of our career. So this may be due to the chronicity, meaning sige naman siya kahitabo nga wala tay way to escape the exposure, meaning saon man yun na naman ko nagpuyo diri, so most probably I will have to cope with it, the long commute, the traffic and all, or the environment at work, and this would prevent us to feel reward in what we do. So additionally, frequent mild stressful events can create high stress levels if this is not dealt with effectively on an ongoing basis. So it will compound, and if not addressed, because unconsciously you will develop manifestations or reactions na sometimes you cannot even pinpoint what could be the cause. So what are the symptoms or reactions? Apathy, so you don't feel anything anymore. Depression, it's more extreme than sadness, kay mas longer man siya, mulinger man siya, and even if wala kayo trigger for sadness, you will feel a kind of extreme um, sadness no over time. Emotional fatigue, that could lead to apathy, and then frequent headaches, colds, and stomach problems. And most people who are highly stressed or exposed to kanang higher stress levels in the work environment would have frequent headaches. Mo na magsige sila ka-absent, colds, and stomach problems, and sometimes would develop allergic reactions na, oh, before, dili man ko ka ng allergic, but nganong karon I would develop um, allergic reactions to like seafoods, no? Trigger man good ang kaning stress nato sa ato mga allergic reactions. Muscle aches, irritability, elevated blood pressure, and cardiac problems. So, as I've said, if the cumulative stress is not dealt with, it could result in an elevated blood pressure and cardiac problems. Also, loss of sexual desire. So, for those who are married or adults who have partners, di iguli nila sa balay, dili na sila ganahan it's not that they don't like the partners, but wala na sila sexual desire. So it could affect the relationship. Then ulcers or hyperacidity, we know that stress can make your kanang acidic levels rise, skin rashes, and relationship problems. But the good thing is that we are equipped with coping, a better ability to cope and in form of resilience. This is the ability to cope with life's challenges and to adapt to adversity. We cannot really eliminate our stressors, but we can cope with it. And your levels of resilience can change over the course of your life. So, resilience, how do you bounce back after a stressful event? Will you wallow in your sorrow or cope up with it? Like there's a stressful event at work, maybe a conflict with a coworker. So, emotional resilience is when you are able to calm your frantic mind after encountering a negative experience, because dili inevitable man yun ang mga negative experiences. Kanang mga stressful events are inevitable. As long as we work, we go to school, as long as we live, we are always exposed or prone to experiencing negative experience. And sometimes this is not in our control. Emotional resilience is an art of living that is entwined with self belief, self compassion, and enhanced cognition. It is the way through which we empower ourselves to perceive adversities as temporary and keep evolving through the pain and sufferings. I remembered when I was in college, during our group process, nga kanang group dynamics na kanang klase, we are always told by our teacher, our professor, na everything that you're experiencing now will pass. So, mauna siya. This too shall pass. Your sadness, even your happiness, temporary na siya. But because you are also equipped with the ability to experience it, you have to cope up with it. Okay, I believe that everyone is equipped with the ability to be resilient. So elements of emotional resilience, good health, energy, vitality, and strength. Because if maka-experience ka cumulative stress, ang imong energy and vitality ma-affected man, like you wake up in the morning, um, kapoy, no? Bisan gikan lang ka natulog. Or, okay, you were able to sleep for 8 hours, but the sleep, it's not kanang quality sleep. Nagsikag mata-mata. Psychological, self-esteem, a high self-esteem, but a healthy amount of self-esteem. Kay kung over na pod na kataas ang self-esteem, it could result to narcissism and adjustability, confidence, self-awareness, self-regulation, the ability to control oneself, self-expression. Socially, you have better interpersonal relationships and the ability to conform within the group, and you are more likable by other people. So emotional resilience can be built by self-awareness, persistence, emotional control, flexible thinking, and interpersonal relationship. So activities for building emotional resilience is the acceptance that sometimes, no, although we have the ability to cope up, but ma-affected yun ta, and we have to accept that one. You have to beat procrastination, flooding yourself with positive thoughts, and finding the balance in doing work and or work, school, and then family life or your personal life. So resilience to the power of positivity. Also, I would not kay naa man sila giingon nga toxic positivity, like okay, ma-okay ra lagi ning tanan, or like when you tell a person who is very sad nga, uy ayaw na og kanang kuan kanang kasadiha, ma-okay ra lagi na. Because sometimes the power to be okay is with the person. So like negative thoughts na this will never pass. Mauna gyud ni akong kahimtang. But you have to change that with alternative positive thoughts like I have seen worse times passing. Or kanang thought nga I am losing my hold on life. Di na gyud ko ka control, wa na ko'y control ani. Okay, sige, maybe bad things happen to you and it's beyond your control, but the alternative positive thought could be I can get back the control. You have to empower yourself na I can gain back the control I once lost. I can never move on. That's a negative thought. And you can change that to maybe I should give it some time. That maybe, siguro, as time pass by, and if I exert effort, maybe I could move on and I will be able to adjust here, or you can change that to, let me try to be friends with some people here. Better to stay quiet or they would judge me and it is worth giving a try. So, kung na kay mga negative thoughts, we always tell a person no na ikaw capable ka to change those negative thoughts to positive thoughts. But it will take time. It will take practice because I don't kanang di man gyud ko moingon na oh, okay, mahimo gyud na nimo. But I would always tell them I know it's difficult at first, but you have to give it time because it's a process. And resilience to gratitude. I always tell clients to make a journal, a gratitude journal. So you list down things that you are thankful for. Like it it doesn't have to be like okay nakakwarta kog dako ron or nakadaog kog lotto or it's just the kind of little goals, to celebrate the little wins. You can write that and then you go back and read. So it makes you feel grateful. Now I have accomplished the ay nga kanang kuan like your goal is to walk pila man ka steps for this day or for the week. Nga na-accomplish nimo. Although wala nimo na-reach ang goal but padung na ka didto. It's an accomplishment. And you can also list like 5 people who made me happy this week or like good things that have happened to me this week, because when we see the positive things na mo happen, sometimes makalimtan, not really makalimtan, but it will kanang somehow mabalance ang mga negative things na nahitabo sa tuwa, because even if negative things happen this week, there are always things na positive na nahitabo. But sometimes when we wallow in negativity, we cannot see the positive side of things. Then you can also put in your journal your note to yourself. And resilience to self-awareness. So I have here a breathing exercise. So when you feel um kung ma-feel nimo na okay, so you were not able to see anything sa PowerPoint. I'm sorry kay nag-slideshow man ko, so I was not able to see the comment. However, can you see the PowerPoint now? It's building emotional resilience na site. Okay, that's good. Now, I have an exercise here for times na you feel overwhelmed. Na you don't understand what you're feeling. You just feel na di mo makaya, or you just feel very anxious that you're about to have panic attack. For some reasons, you cannot even pinpoint a certain reason why you feel like gusto nyo ka makulbaan. So, I have I will show the video, although wala ka siya audio, but you can follow Raman. Just watch the video and follow what the girl is doing. It's a breathing ball. You make a ball with your hands by placing tips of fingers from each hand together. And on inhale, you expand the ball, and on the exhale, deflate the ball. So I will try to show the video. Wait. For a while, I'm looking for it. Okay. So visible ra ang video, ma'am? Is the video visible? So you just follow what the woman is doing.
A Hoberman sphere, or breathing ball, can be an anchor for mindful breathing to help you focus your thoughts or to calm you down. Inhale through your nose as the ball expands. Pause, and then exhale through your nose as the ball contracts. If the breathing ball moves too quickly or slowly for you, you can breathe at your own pace. Let's try it together. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 Take a moment to notice how that felt for you.
Okay, so it's the Hoberman sphere. Actually, no, you just imagine if wala kay di kamutan na og katong YouTube video, but you can search that mindfulness exercise. Is that you imagine no na you're holding a ball, and then when it expands, you breathe in. And then kung mo hiyos na pud siya, you breathe out. So and you notice how it affects your body. So going back, wait. For a while ka naghang akong screen. Okay, I'm sorry my screen hanged because I think I have opened a lot of um, presentations or files. So to continue, for a while. Can you hear me, Ra? Can you
Yes.
see me
Yes,
again?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was gone for a while. Okay, to continue. So actually, you just make an imaginary wall if you don't have um, YouTube with your hands by placing tips of fingers from each hand together. Then on the inhale, expand the ball, and on the exhale, you deflate the ball. So it's a very easy exercise, especially when you feel overwhelmed, when you can't understand what you're feeling, or about to have an anxiety attack. So, what makes a person resilient? An emotionally resilient person is someone who is aware of his thoughts, emotions, and inner potentials, and you acknowledge and the ability to acknowledge that sometimes, no, there are times that you get overwhelmed that you cannot control it, but at least you are able to cope up with it. Thinks before reacting, is patient, understanding, and willing to adapt. Is high on acceptance and forgiveness, focuses on finding solutions, and expresses his emotions in a socially acceptable way. And this is a very ganing a good manifestation of kanang self-control, that yes, you can express your emotions but in a socially acceptable way, in an empathetic way also, and you someone who does not bottle up negative emotions, is able to create and sustain long-term relationships, is not ashamed to ask for help when they need it the most, because sometimes we feel that we are capable of solving our own problems, but also we have to accept that not all problems nga masolve nato na kitara, that we need help, and believes in sorting out conflicts through discussions. So what makes a person resilient also? So number one, there are ways to develop resilience. Be assertive. This takes time to practice. So replace negative thoughts with the positive ones, the ones that I showed you before. Maintain a healthy lifestyle. You don't really have to go on diet. Just you just have to eat a balanced meal. Communicate often. Accept feedback and criticisms. Relax and breathe. So you meditate. You pray. No. Practice deep breathing when you feel burned out. Wander in wilderness once in a while and appreciate nature. So in Cebu, we are lucky because dili man kay with nature. So like we can go to the mountains, no, to breathe fresh air. So it can help us. So in closing, a word from Rumi: the art of knowing is knowing what to ignore. And ways to develop resilience is to cultivate hobbies, explore your passions. Sometimes we are so overworked na dili na nato noon ma-explore atong things na ganahan niya. We will have to wait until retirement to do it. But if you have time to do it now, you explore your passions. Spend time doing what you love to do. Invest in some good reads, self-help books, positive thinking, and inspirational stories. Find balance. Be grateful for the little things that make you smile. Spend some me time at least once a week. So I know na uh, mostly for people with families, no, kanang naay mga bata, naay spouses, it can be overwhelming because most of your time, no, you work and then you have to do a lot of household work also when you get home. But it would help if you spend some me time at least once a week. At least once a week lang, so dili kay ka guilty. The me time allows you to be mindful of what you need, be mindful also of what you're feeling, and the me time can be like having coffee alone, reading a book alone, That's considered a me time, or even going to the parlor. Devote time to your family, parents, partner, and kids. Catch up with old friends. Attend social gatherings at work. So I know this is not possible at this time, kay, with the pandemic and all. But you can do like online chatting with friends through Zoom or your messenger video calls. And most importantly is you have to protect your energy at all cost. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Rosemary, for sharing your time and knowledge with us. So this time, the floor is open for questions. So if you have questions, are there participants, just comment on the bottom below sa inyong YouTube. Okay, I think there are no questions at all. So at this time, I think we are good now. So we'll have or giving the certificate of appreciation to our speaker. Allow me to read the citation. The certificate of appreciation is presented to Rosemary C. Gunato for extending her time in sharing her knowledge during the webinar entitled Stress Management, Effective Coping Strategies in Celebration of Mental Health Awareness Month, signed by Elita Elque, Director of GTSC, signed by Dr. Ernesto L. Aluler, the Vice President of Academic Affairs, and the President, Attorney Paulino A. Yabao. Thank you, ma'am, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay, for our participants, thank you for attending also, for having your time with us. Please don't forget to fill out the evaluation form, which can be found at GTSC FB page, or we can send it through the comment section so you could answer directly our evaluation. So rest assured that your certificate will be sent through your email you provided with us. So thank you once again.